Heather's Homestead here, doing a video today of our fruit orchard that we're just now putting in. I haven't done many videos of the new property, but I figured I would do one right now because it's always great to be able to look back and see the progress that you've made in the area that you decide to do something, like when you have a garden or when you put in an orchard. For instance, this area all right here behind where the chickens are was thick woods, like over here. It was very thick woods. We had to take down many trees. We did that all ourselves with the help of one friend and our grown son, who's good at cutting down trees. We topped a lot of them and dropped a lot of them out into the field out there. Took a long time to do it, and it was a lot of work. So this chicken area, it was not fenced in either when we first moved in. Building was here, and that was it. So we fenced it in and took down all the trees back here, fenced all of that in so that as the orchard grows and the trees start to get bigger, they'll offer some overhead safety for the birds, because we do have hawks that come down and try to scoop up the chickens. So it'll offer some safety to them, and it will, having the chickens out there, they'll eat any of the pests that might be growing on the trees. They'll eat the pests, and then they'll also keep the grass from growing as much in there. So this is a good setup to have chickens run through your orchard. It's good to have them together for this purpose. Anyway, so I'm gonna walk up there. We just put wire fencing around the chicken run. That's a rabbit hutch right there. It's wire fencing here. I don't know if you can see it. And then we just cut a tiny little hole in it that we can close off if we need to, if we don't want them out there for any reason. This also, we converted when we moved in. I do have a video on this. This is the pig run. We will be getting pigs probably in the next 2 weeks or so. So this area is all fenced in with cattle panel, and then on the inside of the cattle panel at snout level is electric to keep the pigs in. So this all needs to be cleaned up a little bit before we get the pigs in here, but this is where they are. Back of the chicken coop, and here is the orchard. These fencing, we got this from this wood gate fence we got from a friend of ours. It's really awesome, heavy oak. So here's the orchard. There's the chickens, and they can come right into here and help maintain the orchard as far as the undergrowth of like grass and such, and also some of the insects. Now we could not get all of the stumps up. Here's one, here's one, here's one. Some of the bigger trees we could not remove the stumps. I mean, we could if we wanted to pay to have them ground down, but we didn't want to do that. There was too many of them. So we just planted around them, and they'll deteriorate and turn into mulch themselves. So let's go to the top. I put stones all around the outside. Well, all of us did, and rock. All of this was located in this forest area, all of these big rocks. This was all woods, very thick. So they were all removed and put against the side to keep predators from coming in here when the chickens are in here, such as fox or dogs. We don't really have dogs that run around here, but just anything that might want to come in here and eat chickens when they're foraging. It helps to protect them. And the gate opens up to the hay barn and the run in back here for the horses. So we did it in strips. This is our first strip right here. We did pomegranates. Now, I didn't think pomegranates would grow in our zone. We're in zone 7A, but they do, apparently. So I've got 5 pomegranates. I've never grown them before, so I don't know. I believe they like to grow bush habit, not like a tree, but more like a bush. So I'm gonna have to look into that and see if I need to do anything specific for them. They look pretty healthy. Got them from Willis Nursery online, mail order. This next section is all cherry trees. There are 2 holes that are not filled yet, and we spaced them about 12 feet apart. And we did it, and like the sun rises over there, comes up this way, and so we put the fruit trees or bushes or shrubs up towards this end that were either grown more further south in a zone 8 or more, like pomegranates usually are, or the fruiting trees up this area that bloom earlier, such as cherries bloom very early, and then the next row is peaches, and they bloom next. So I wanted those at the top of this orchard because it is on a gradual slope down there. So if there's any frost or cool air pockets that would settle, it would settle down there. And so at the end down there, I put apples and pears and Asian pears because all of those things can tolerate cool air settling more so than the varieties up here. So the pomegranates are up here, the cherries are next, and then the peaches are in this next section. They don't look like much now, but they will in a couple months. And when you first buy them, this is always so alarming, but they're like 5 foot tall when you get them, and you think, oh wow, they're really big and beautiful. Well, what you should do is cut them off at about 3 foot or right at your kneecap when you plant them, so that the new growth that flushes out, all of these branches, these will all become branches. And when they flush out, they will make for lower branches on the whole tree overall. So your tree will not be 18 feet tall as a semi-dwarf or a standard at 30 feet tall. You can keep them as short as 6 foot or 5 foot or whatever you want them to be. And that also allows you to reduce your spacing between trees, so it doesn't need to be 15 or 20 or 25 feet apart. It can be 5 feet apart, or you can grow them in a hedgerow, or however you'd like to do it when you have the trees that you have started at a lower canopy. So these are at like 2.5 foot is where we cut that one. Some of them were okay when they came to us, and they did not need to be cut as far, so they have some of their scaffolding branches that come out around. But most of them will be cut down to knee level. We still have a couple more trees coming in to fill in these empty holes. And also with planting your fruit trees, if you're planting one, something you should keep in mind is to get trees that all ripen at different times. So instead of buying 5 plum trees that all ripen in July, find one that's June, one that's July, one that's August, and one that's September, so that you'll have a little bit of fruit from that variety every month for 4 consecutive months, instead of 4 or 5 trees all having their fruit come in at the same time, and then you're just overrun and basically sick of it. So that's another great thing to think about when you're doing this. So size is very important, to keep them small by cutting them low when you first put them in the ground, and then your variety and your spacing, because you control this orchard that you're going to put in is what you want it to be. It doesn't need to be huge. It doesn't need to be. This is a pear. they're very upright and sturdy trees. Pears and Asian pears are very stout. But we need to cut that down as well. We just didn't get to it today. But this is your orchard, and you can do it how you want to do it. These are just some of the things that we've learned. This is our second home with an orchard, and it took us 4 years to get this one to a point where we could finally plant it. So we've learned some things along the way. We also thought of, since we're going to have this orchard here and have the chickens run through here, again, to keep the insects and the grass down, any of the fallen fruit that they don't want to eat, or if we have a huge amount, you just throw it right over the fence to the pigs. They don't get butchered until the end of November or so. And so they're going to eat all of your produce all fall and summer long to help them grow. So out of a wasted apple, you can grow a pork chop, if you know what I mean. So it's very exciting. Finally getting this in. It's been a long time we've been waiting. Our favorite place to order from is Stark's Brothers, but there's a bunch of nurseries. There's Stark's Brothers, there's Rain Tree Nursery. If you wanted to buy bare root trees, they send them to you with just the root, you know, no dirt or anything like that, and you plant them, and we've always had great success with getting it that way. You can also go to a big box store and buy them. Sometimes you don't know what you're going to get there, or how old they are, and you don't have as many varieties. But if you go online to one of these mail orders, the varieties are pretty much endless. And then right where I'm standing in the corner of the orchard, we have a tree there, and here, and then there's a big spot that I left open. We're going to put a bench here so that we can look out over the orchard, or if it gets hot, it'll be a shady spot to sit. So that's my orchard so far. Really, I love the way it turned out. He's a big mouth. All right, everybody. Hope everybody is well and you are staying safe. Until next time.